I thought there was a wall, but it ends, like literally ends. Still no GPS. Nothing's working out here. Y'all keep saying the clips are too short. So here's another minute of the end of the world. Okay, so there is a wall too, but for what reason, I don't understand. We made it to the bottom. Here's your view of the ice wall. I think I'm gonna try and touch it. About to be the first person to touch the ice wall. If we weren't recording this, no one would believe us.
This picture of a UFO breaking out of the water near Antarctica was supposedly taken in 1971 by the USS Trepang, if I'm pronouncing that right, submarine. So that picture and the pictures I'm about to show you have been around for decades. Along with the story that these were all taken by a United States submarine during a mission in or around Antarctica sometime in 1971. That's when these pictures were supposedly taken. And I'll tell you this, I can't tell what they are, but they sure ain't no boat.
This is the Bar Caves in India, built between 300 and 185 BC. And they say it was built with hammer and chisel, no power tools. But look at that. Look at the walls. Look at the ceiling. How sharp the joins are like that. How did they do this with no lasers? This is laser technology right here. And look at this wall. Look how shiny this wall is. And this is original. This is not after the fact added shine. This is granite. So, for the Matrix believers, how could they do this? And look at the floor. That floor is super smooth. You could play billiards. You could shoot pool on that floor. 8-ball corner pocket type. And look at that doorway. 90-degree angles. This looks like some modern stuff, man. 300 BC. Look at that. You're playing pool on that floor. Are you guys certain? For the Matrix believers, y'all keep saying the same thing in my videos. The story on Wikipedia compared to the final product don't match. You see what I'm saying? Look how shiny. Like, they tell you hand chisel by hand, but the final product says machine work. It says lasers. Look at how curved the ceiling is here. There's 4 different caves in this whole area, okay? And they all look like this. They all look like they were look how shiny. They all look like they were machine cut. Lasers. These caves were carved with ancient technology. I'm not sure what you're going to be able to say to convince me otherwise, because most of you guys say the same thing. The Matrix believers, you say, oh, they didn't have TikTok back then, or they had a lot of time. Oh, a lot of slave manpower. That's what you call an NPC villager response. When you're playing an RPG game and you're trying to figure out how to get past a blocked path, and you ask a villager and they're like, oh, the answer you seek is along the path. I need to know how to get on the path to get past the blockage. The answer you seek is on the path. Like, bro, y'all keep saying the same thing. It's time to set aside the Matrix and realize that they lied to us about this stuff. They're hiding information about history. They're hiding information about ancient technology. They're hiding information about the millennial reign of Christ, which already happened. They're hiding information about the food, all kinds of stuff. The people who understand that we've been lied to, send this video to a Matrix believer. Send this to someone who's really confident in the mainstream information and see what they have to say about this.
What I found interesting, people mentioned that they shipped all the steel over to China. Not all of it.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the other 9/11 memorials?
I've been to the main ones on Ground Zero.
Check these things out. There's 9/11 memorials all over the country. And when you see this, I found these things offensive. You see what you're looking at right there? That's a steel beam from the World Trade Centers stuck through a globe, and this is over at NORAD. But now I'm going to just kind of show you a little montage of all these things all around the United States. Is beams from the World Trade Centers displayed in some kind of grotesque fashion where they're all just bent up, rusted, destroyed looking. Tell me that honors somebody. I don't think that it does. What I see right there, to me, it looks like somebody put a cigar out in an ashtray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Does that honor anyone?
I think the only thing it does is honor the evil of their ritual by continually tricking an unsuspecting and naive public to pay homage to something they don't even understand.
Brought some intense rain to the valley, and several people captured video showing driverless Waymo vehicles stuck in the floodwaters, prompting some safety concerns. So what is...
See anyone?
There's nobody here. They're all brand new.
Oh, well, hey, someone's coming.
Get in the front car right now!
All right. What are you doing? Should we flag them down? Maybe they know something.
There's no one in that car!
Mom, on your left, this car. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go.
So a massive oil refinery exploded last night, and this time it wasn't in Russia or Ukraine, it was in California. Apparently on the evening of October 2nd of 2025, a massive explosion happened at the Chevron refinery in El Segundo, California, which triggered a massive fire and a huge fireball that lit up the entire night sky that was able to be seen from like miles across the South Bay area of Los Angeles. Now apparently the incident occurred at apparently this refinery, this Chevron refinery, is one of the largest refineries on the West Coast and has a daily processing capacity of about 290,000 barrels of crude oil, which produces key fuels like gasoline, jet fuel, and diesel. Now, a lot of the residents out there said this explosion was so loud that they thought that it might have been an earthquake or that something exploded inside their home. That's how powerful this blast was. Apparently, it happened around 9:30 to 9:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday, October 2nd of 2025, and eyewitnesses in nearby areas, including Topgolf and El Segundo, captured videos of this sudden explosion of flames and people fleeing in panic.
I bet you didn't know that in the 9th grade, I had a world history school teacher, Jewish white man. He liked me because he seen something in me. No diddy. He told me to stay after class. I stayed after class. He says, and I would never forget this lesson. He says, Don, there's gonna be a war so devastating in the future that people are gonna think that it's about getting guns, training their bodies. And he said, that's not what it's gonna be about. It's not going to be about how much you can battle and fight and destroy and bomb and, unalive. It's not going to be about that. He said it's going to be about how strong you are mentally. Check this out. I come to understand this war. It's right now. This war is about globalist against flat earthers. Yeah. Y'all think that, it's Zionists. It's the small hats in free Palestine. Yeah. All of that is real, but it's no bigger war that's more devastating than the globalist agenda. Listen to me carefully, folks. There is no bigger deception on this flat plane of existence than them telling you that you spinning around through the galaxy, shooting through the galaxy. The sun is spinning around. We spinning around. Look at all of the confusion that I just talked about. Think about that. We are on a non-rotating plane. This place does not move. The sky moves. We don't. But the globalists, in your mindset, if you think we live on a ball, look at how you thinking right now. What does that matter? What does that got to do? I gotta go to work and pay bills. That's where they want you to be. My flat earth knowing ass, I ain't worried about a bitch ass thing. And you know what happens in my life? Everything works out. Y'all not hearing me? Y'all gotta go to work. You programmed. You're the slave they created. You just don't even see it. Shit, you just don't even see it. You just don't even know it. The greatest war that's happening right now is globalists versus flat earthers. And we are the most powerful people in the world. Globalists are the most powerful. Flat earthers are the most powerful. There is no other power in this universe except for us. Facts.
Is another example of something that can seem to break reality and give you a headache at the same time. CCTV cameras in this building caught this man going up the stairs, yet still what happens next is a pure glitch in the matrix. He accidentally walked below the tiles on the floor. This is impossible, but we saw it happen for ourselves and was caught on camera. The man in the video also realized for himself what just happened. He walks backwards and tries it again. Did he just break all the rules of science right before our eyes?
This is a real petrified statue of a fallen angel the world was never meant to see. In January 2023, Russian coal miners in Siberia found a massive, evil-looking angel statue while digging underground. Its huge wings and lifelike details make it look real, like a being turned to stone. They reported it to the government, which sent a helicopter to airlift it away. Officials later claimed it was around 10,000 years old. What made it even stranger was that the clothes weren't carved from stone like the rest of the figure. They were real fabric turned to stone. But this is where it gets scary. Rumors spread that the statue was actually a fallen angel trapped in stone and buried deep within the earth. Some even pointed to Bible verses describing how God cast rebellious angels out of heaven and chained them in darkness until Judgment Day. Even The Simpsons once had an episode about finding a fallen angel statue. After all, there haven't been any new photos, videos, or official reports about the statue since it was supposedly taken for study. The people in control took it away, hiding the truth. Comment mystery, and I'll reveal who is truly in control.
The real truth, you better wake up and find out, has been around you all of your life. You just didn't see it. Example, Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John Kennedy was elected to Congress 1946. 1846. Abe Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John Kennedy was elected president in 1960. The names Lincoln and Kennedy both contain 7 letters. Both presidents were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both of the president's wives lost children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday in the head. President Lincoln's secretary was named Miss Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Miss Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, in 1939. Both assassins were known by 3 names: John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald. Both names are comprised of 15 letters. President Lincoln was shot in a theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car named Lincoln, made by Ford. John Wilkes Booth ran to a theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Booth and Oswald were both assassinated before they could go to trial. And a week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. A week before Kennedy was shot, he was with Marilyn Monroe.
The truth is hidden in plain sight, and this is how they hide everything. If you are looking for the knowledge that has been hidden from us, if you want to know the meaning behind these symbols, if you want to know who controls the world, this ebook will literally unveil that to you, and ye shall know the truth, and truth shall set you free.
Bishop Williamson, are these your words? There was not one Jew killed by the gas chambers. It was all lies, lies, lies. Are these your words?
You're quoting from Canada, I believe, yes, of many years ago. I believe that the historical evidence is is hugely against 6 million Jews having been deliberately gassed in gas chambers as a deliberate policy of Adolf Hitler.
But you say not one Jew was killed.
In gas chambers.
So there was no gas chambers.
I believe there were no gas chambers, yes. I think as far as I have studied the evidence, I'm not going by emotion, I'm going by, as far as I've understood the evidence, I think, for instance, people who are against what is very widely believed today about, quote-unquote, the Holocaust, I think that people those people conclude, the revisionists as they're called, I think the most serious conclude that between 200,000 and 300,000 Jews perished in Nazi concentration camps, but not one of them by gassing in a gas chamber. You may have heard of the Leuchter report. Fred Leuchter was an expert in gas chambers. He designed 3 gas chambers for 3 states, 3 of the 50 United States, for the execution of criminals. So he knew what's involved. And he studied what the supposed gas chambers in Germany at some point in the 1980s, what remains of the supposed gas chambers, the crematoria at Birkenau, Auschwitz, for instance. And his conclusion, his expert conclusion was it's impossible that these could ever have served for the gassing of large numbers of people. Because cyanide gas is very dangerous. If you let's supposing you gas 300 people that you've crowded into one chamber and you gas them, they're all wearing some clothes, or for instance, if they're wearing any clothes, it's very dangerous to go in and pull out the corpses, because one whiff of gas that's trapped in the clothing and escapes from the clothing will kill the person. It's extremely dangerous. In order to, once you've gassed people, you've got to get rid of you've got to evacuate the gas to be able to get into the chamber again and use it. To evacuate the gas, you need a high chimney. If it's a low chimney, the gas goes onto the pavement and kills anybody walking by. You need a high chimney, right? I forget how high he says it must be. If there was a high chimney, then the shadow most times of day, the shadow would have fallen on the ground, and the Allied aerial photographers that flew over the camps would have picked up the shadow of this chimney. There were never any such shadows. There was no such chimney, in which case, according to Fred Leuchter's testimony, there can't have been gas chambers. He looks at the doors and he says, the door has to be absolutely airtight. Otherwise, again, the gas escapes and kills the people outside. The doors of the gas chamber that are shown to tourists at Auschwitz is absolutely not airtight. Absolutely not. So,
what you're saying now is that the Holocaust never occurred. Not in the way history is written today.
I am going by what I judge to be the historical evidence, according to people who have observed and examined that evidence. I believe that what they conclude, if they change their conclusion, I would be liable to follow their conclusion, because I think they judge by the evidence. I think that 200,000 to 300,000 Jews perished in Nazi concentration camps, but nothing like that. None of them by a gas chamber. I don't. If
this is not anti-Semitism, what is anti-Semitism?
Anti-Semitism. If anti-Semitism is bad, it's against truth. If something is true, it's not bad. I'm not interested in the word anti-Semitism. I mean, the word is very dangerous.
The bishop calls you anti-Semite.
The bishop can call me. He can call me a dinosaur. He can call me an idiot. He can call me what he likes. This is not a question of name calling. This is a question of historical truth. Historical truth goes by evidence and not by emotion. There's certainly been a huge exploitation. Germany has paid out billions and billions of Deutschmarks and now euros because the Germans have a guilt complex about their having gassed 6 million Jews. But I don't think 6 million Jews were gassed. Now, be careful. I beg of you, this is against the law in Germany. If there was somebody of the German state, you could have me thrown into prison before I leave Germany. I hope that's not your intention.
This is a real petrified statue of a fallen angel the world was never meant to see. In January 2023, Russian coal miners in Siberia found a massive, evil-looking angel statue while digging underground. Its huge wings and lifelike details make it look real, like a being turned to stone. They reported it to the government, which sent a helicopter to airlift it away. Officials later claimed it was around 10,000 years old. What made it even stranger was that the clothes weren't carved from stone like the rest of the figure. They were real fabric turned to stone. But this is where it gets scary. Rumors spread that the statue was actually a fallen angel trapped in stone and buried deep within the earth. Some even pointed to Bible verses describing how God cast rebellious angels out of heaven and chained them in darkness until Judgment Day. Even The Simpsons once had an episode about finding a fallen angel statue. After all, there haven't been any new photos, videos, or official reports about the statue since it was supposedly taken for study. The people in control took it away, hiding the truth. Comment mystery, and I'll reveal who is truly in control.
Past.
What if Lucifer isn't in hell, but locked under the Vatican? In 1853, the church uncovered a hidden tomb beneath St. Peter's Basilica. Inside, a black coffin, wrapped in 7 chains, covered in 72 symbols, each one tied to a demon from the Ars Goetia. The church believed those symbols weren't decoration, they were containment. And each time the world fails, war, famine, corruption, a chain breaks. One snapped in 1914, another in 1945, then 1968, and again in 2001. Only 3 remain. The Vatican denies the tomb exists, but deep beneath Rome, Lucifer is moving.
If you've ever seen this experiment before where they put this magnet on this circular Hot Wheels type thing, then you know that an aurora borealis actually appears directly in the center of this thing, which gets many people to suspect that the aurora borealis at the North Pole is actually some type of portal. And now, just recently, a larger structure that is supposedly just a work of art that looks a lot like that science experiment we just saw has been built in Detroit, of all places, which has got many people thinking that whoever built this, maybe they are actually trying to create a portal and escape to somewhere. Now, in my opinion, I don't think that we actually have the technology to create a portal, but I think that whoever builds these, they do it for the imagery factor to show people what they actually believe in. Because I do think that there's a secret underground religion that's super weird, and they have to like put their truth in plain sight. Because they got the Fibonacci sequence that has to do with the Mandelbrot set here, and they also had sculptures of demons around this site too, and it's right next to a Scientology building. But all this talk about the North Pole actually being a portal has got me thinking about this time that this one guy was texting me and telling me that he went beyond the ice wall or to a new land, and he got there by flying to the North Pole, which has a secret hole there, which he wouldn't tell me the exact location of. But what if the Northern Lights are actually like some sort of transportation device? And maybe this guy did make it to some whole faraway secret land. Maybe it was Agartha, or maybe there actually are continents beyond the ice wall. But you know, I don't even know. This is just, there's so much crazy stuff in this world, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. And I thought that that science experiment that guy did with the magnet, because I know magnetism has a lot to do with all this. Mandelbrot, if you don't know what that is, look that up. And the Fibonacci sequence, I know it has a lot to do with that. And I do think that there is secret technology hidden that we don't have access to. And I just know there are a lot of secrets out there, and I think it's definitely possible that the Northern Lights are actually some portal.
You have a connection to 9/11 as well, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I was booked on the first flight that hit the tower, and I was drinking the night before. Overslept a little bit in conjunction with the fact that my travel agent screwed up the itinerary by about 15 minutes, and so I arrived 10 minutes late to get on the flight.
Access Hollywood that Michael was supposed to be at a meeting inside the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001. Now, Jermaine said his brother slept through a number of early morning appointments, and that day was one of them.